Stop buying single-purpose tactical gear just because the internet told you it looks cool. Most people think a survival rifle needs endless rails and a 30-round magazine. That mistake costs you unmatched versatility in the field. While the crowd was distracted by the same old black rifles, true professionals were looking at the only tools that can harvest a bird and neutralize a heavy predator in the blink of an eye. I am talking about the resurgence of the combination gun. We are counting down the top 5, ending with an absolute monster that completely redefines wilderness survival. Starting us off at number 5, we have the heavy hitter of the group, the Chiappa M6 Survival and Double Badger series. We call this the folding sledgehammer. Most survival guns are glorified range toys, but Chiappa built this as a serious off-grid asset. Under the hood, they ditched those clumsy historic paddle triggers for a dedicated twin trigger system. This provides fine mechanical control over the sear engagement, giving you actual precision on the rifled barrel instead of just hoping for the best. While others mess around with tiny birdshot, these guys stepped up to a massive 12-gauge option paired with a 22 rimfire. That 12-gauge feeds heavy 1-ounce slugs pushing over 1,500 feet per second to generate massive kinetic energy. Picture yourself deep in thick timber. A feral hog steps onto the trail at 40 yards. A standard rimfire is useless here, but this platform gives you the immediate stopping power to neutralize the threat instantly. Compare this to the classic Springfield M6 Scout. The old Scout was a neat tool, but it lacked the sheer brute force that a 12-gauge payload delivers. But here is the brutal truth. When you send a heavy slug downrange out of a lightweight single shot, it kicks like an angry mule. The recoil is absolutely punishing. Furthermore, the Double Badger uses wood furniture, which will swell in a wet weather scenario, unlike modern synthetic stocks. Ultimately, this is a brute force option for the woodsman who refuses to be undergunned. Stepping up the game to number 4, we have the Savage Model 42 Takedown. The old Woodstock Model 24 is an absolute legend, but finding one today that is not rusted shut is nearly impossible. Savage modernized that concept for the emergency preparedness crowd, building this tool with a matte black synthetic polymer stock and carbon steel. You can throw it behind your truck seat and forget about it because it is completely impervious to moisture. Under the hood, it features a brilliant one-button push mechanism located near the forend. Unlike complex takedown levers that jam with grit, this system instantly separates the firearm into 2 halves for discrete storage. Ballistically, it runs on 22 long rifle over a 410-bore shotgun barrel. The rifle barrel utilizes a 1 in 16-inch twist rate, which perfectly stabilizes standard 40-grain projectiles, pushing around 1,200 feet per second for small game foraging. If you are stranded in the backcountry and need meat over a fire, this tool gets the job done. But here is the brutal truth about this platform. It feels like a plastic toy. The factory sights are basic open V-notch irons that are incredibly tough to acquire in low-light conditions. Because it only feeds small rimfire rounds, you are severely undergunned against anything bigger than a coyote. The break action opens with a heavy clunk, and the recoil is just a polite tap against the shoulder. It is the ultimate insurance policy for the prepared citizen, but it lacks heavy stopping power. Entering the elite tier at number 3, we have the EAA Baikal Blue Label. You hear Turkish import, and you immediately think of cheap hardware. But these guys stepped up to fill the massive hole left by Russian import sanctions. Instead of plastic, they went with genuine Turkish walnut and a polished blue finish. Under the hood, it features a receiver-integrated Picatinny rail, which solves the oldest problem in the combination gun world. Usually, you must choose between a scope for the rifle or open sights for the shotgun swing. This system lets you mount a quick detach optic, meaning you can switch from a red dot for flushing birds to a magnified scope for a 300-yard shot in seconds. Ballistically, it feeds on 20-gauge shells and the 223 Remington cartridge. That gives you a flat-shooting varmint round, traveling over 3,000 feet per second, paired with a close-range hammer. Imagine hunting predators with a standard single barrel, where you miss a coyote at a distance and get overrun up close. This combo prevents that tactical failure. But here is the brutal truth. The trigger pull is heavy and gritty, feeling like you are dragging a brick through gravel. You are not getting a match-grade glass rod break at this price point. Also, that beautiful woodstock will scratch and swell if you drag it through a rugged survival situation. It is a solid traditional choice, but wait until you see the monster at number 1. Closer to the crown. At number 2, we have the Blaser BBF 95 and BBF 97. If you demand absolute mechanical perfection and have the funds to back it up, this is your weapon. This is not a cheap truck gun, but a piece of uncompromising European engineering designed for the high Alps. Most combination guns share a fatal flaw where the barrels are soldered together. When you fire the rifle portion, the heat warps the steel, and your point of impact starts walking off the target fast. Blaser fixed this by integrating a revolutionary thermostable free-floating barrel system under the hood. This mechanism allows the rifle and shotgun barrels to expand and contract completely independently. It also features a manual cocking system instead of a traditional safety, meaning you carry it with the springs untensioned until you push the lever forward. Ballistically, it feeds on top-tier precision rifle cartridges and heavy European shotgun loads, delivering massive kinetic energy. In a high-stakes real-world scenario, like a frozen mountain survival situation, your cold bore shot and your hot bore shot will hit the exact same place every single time. Compared to a traditional soldered gun, where a third shot might miss the bullseye by 6 inches, the Blaser remains surgically precise. But here is the brutal truth. The financial damage to your wallet is catastrophic, with a price tag that could buy a reliable used vehicle. The brake action is extremely stiff, requiring a deliberate firm hand to open. Ultimately, it is an elite tool for the professional who refuses to miss. But frankly, you might be too terrified of scratching that pristine finish to drag it through heavy brush. Finally, we reach the absolute apex of the food chain, going to the TPS Arms M6 Takedown. I know the purists are going to scream about the old military models, but the original Air Force survival guns were made of stamped sheet metal and hope. They were incredibly flimsy. TPS Arms took that classic design and completely reinvented it with billet machine steel and cast components. Under the hood, it features a modernized captive takedown pin system. This matters heavily because on the old models, if you dropped that pin in the mud, you were holding a useless paperweight. This new system ensures the weapon stays strictly operational even when your hands are freezing and shaking in a high-stress environment. When you lock it up, it is tighter than a bank vault. From a ballistic standpoint, it feeds on 357 Magnum and 410 bore shotgun shells. The Magnum round pushes out at over 1,200 feet per second, delivering serious stopping power, while the shotgun barrel handles the rest. Picture yourself stranded in the backcountry. With this exact rig, you can drop a white-tailed deer at 100 yards for major sustenance, or easily take a flying bird for the pot. Unlike the mushy squeeze bars of the past on those historic platforms, the trigger here breaks with a crisp snap. But here is the brutal truth you must accept. It is a single-shot weapon. If you miss your first shot under pressure, the reload process is slow and clumsy. Furthermore, the recoil is a sharp jolt that lets you know you are alive. If you want the ultimate survival tool that eliminates the threat and keeps you in the fight, this is it. The SHOT Show floor proved one crucial thing this year. The industry is finally waking up and moving away from heavy tactical toys that only look good on the internet. We are shifting back to reliable multi-purpose tools that actually work in the wild for true self-reliance. Whether you choose the high-dollar luxury of the Blaser or the rugged grit of the TPS, the combination gun is the absolute future of survival and emergency preparedness. Stop buying gear for likes and start buying tools that keep you in the fight. Now I want to hear from you. If you were stranded in the deep woods with only one choice, would you take the Polymer Savage or the heavy steel TPS Arms? Sound off in the comments. Stay sharp and watch your six.